Hello everyone, this is part 15 of What If Naruto Meets the Nine Tails Early, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. It had happened so slow and then all of the sudden so fast. Naruto laid in bed, in the Hokage mansion, reflecting on the events of the previous day. Despite nearly being killed by a mob of about 100 angry villagers who had finally snapped, it was without doubt the best birthday he had ever had. It was on that day that he learned that there were people who truly cared for him: Tsunade Barkan, Kakashi-sensei, Iruka-sensei, Konohamaru, Tsuki and Ayami Ichiraku, and Hinata. Thinking on that last name sent a few tingles through his stomach as he recalled what Hinata had said to him yesterday. All this time, she had known. She had known the reason why the village hated and shunned him, yet she had felt the complete opposite of what most of the village had felt about him. She loved him and she shamelessly admitted her love to him while defending him from the pack of ravenous villagers. No one had ever said that to him before. Ever since the Chunin exams, Naruto had been developing something for the young Hyuga. At first, he thought it was just the two of them becoming good friends. Until last night, that's all he ever thought those feelings were. It was last night that he realized as well that the way he felt for her had changed over time as well, with most of that change occurring during the time they spent together while tracking down Tsunade. He had gotten a chance to actually get to know her better and realized that there were many things that he liked about her, from her desire to get stronger to her desire to protect those precious to her. These were a few qualities of her personality that Naruto held the highest. And then last night, it finally hit him, after all the teasing by Ero Sennin and all the pushing by Kurama referring to Hinata as his vixen, it dawned on him that she saw him as more than a friend and wanted him to be more than just friends. The only things that had stopped this from happening were her shyness, causing her to never come forward, and his own thick-headedness, for not noticing the hints she was giving off sooner. Back in the academy, he had imagined that it would have always been Sakura who he would end up with. However, since their time together on Team 7, Naruto was beginning to notice that Sakura wasn't exactly the person he was looking for. Sure, he figured they would still be great friends, but he had this feeling that their relation was heading a different direction. It was almost as if he had been looking towards her as more of a sister. Besides, she was still all gaga over Sasuke. But now, he had Hinata. And she had actually cared about him for years. It had all happened so fast, yet slowly at the same time, that he couldn't help feeling like a complete loser for not noticing sooner. Continuing with his reflection on the previous day, there was one other thing that was on his mind. He reached over to the table next to him and grabbed the blue book that Tsunade had given him as a present for his birthday. It was about the same size as the books that Kakashi had always read, yet this one wasn't filled with perverted smut. No, this book was filled with the most wonderful thing in the world, a guide to the very best ramen shops in all the shinobi nations. Naruto flipped through the book, looking at all the places he would be getting the special bowls of ramen from. In total, there were 50 different ramen shops located throughout all the nations, both great and minor, that were featured in that passport. 7 of them were located in the Land of Fire, including his hometown favorite Ichiraku. He was wondering what heavenly dish Tsuki had concocted that had made its way into this passport. Now, there was a decision that was tearing him apart. Should he go to Ichiraku's first, or should he save the best for last? Beep, 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 went Shikamaru's alarm as he struggled to even motivate himself to turn off the alarm. However, even he knew if he didn't turn it off, it would just keep ringing. What a drag. Asuma-sensei had called an emergency team meeting that morning. So much for his plans of sleeping in on his day off. He met up with the rest of his team at Training Ground 16, the official training ground of Team 10. Ino and Chuji were already there, looking impatiently at their lazy teammate. The two of them were sitting on top of training stumps as Asuma motioned for him to take a seat next to him. So you mind telling us what this is all about? Asked Shikamaru. I want to go back to bed. Asuma sighed at the enthusiasm displayed by the sole Chunin of Team 10. Last night, an incident occurred, he explained. This incident involving 2 of your former classmates and also your former sensei. Wait, does that mean Iruka sense? Asked Ino. Asuma nodded. But who were our classmates? It was Naruto Uzumaki and Hinata Hoiga, said Asuma. No one was surprised Naruto's name had come up, but Hinata, well, that was surprising. Last night, the three of them were attacked and nearly killed by a drunken mob of civilians. The reasons behind this are still unknown, but we believe that it was due to a significant amount of alcohol and potential drugs in their system. Tsunade-sama and the medical teams are looking into it, but those have been the findings of the preliminary results. What? Exclaimed Chuji. Are they all right? Naruto and Hinata are fine, just a little shaken. Iruka is in the hospital, but he had nothing more than a few minor knife wounds and a broken arm. Explained Asuma. He took a look around to his team. They appeared to be buying the cover to the real reason why Naruto was attacked. Unfortunately, this got Shikamaru thinking. Why would a mob of drunken villagers attack Naruto? Sure, he could be annoying at times, but there really was no reason to. So why did the mob attack Naruto? Shikamaru would have to look further into this, but figured it would be too troublesome. Around the teams of the Rookie 9 and Team Guy, everyone was informed of the incident that had taken place last night. The only ones who had gotten the truth was Team 7 because they already knew about the Kyuubi, and Hinata because she was directly involved in it. Everyone else received the same version to the story that Team 10 had gotten. Over the course of the day, Naruto had been approached by most of his friends from said teams, all wanting to see if he was alright. Sure, they looked upon Naruto as annoying and loud at times, but each and every one had a reason why the blonde troublemaker had begun to grow on them. No one could quite understand the reason why he was attacked, but they figured they would try to comfort him at least. Team 7 had met at their training ground after Naruto had managed to sneak away from the mansion where he had been cooped up in for the past few days. It was now 2 days after his birthday and this was the first time he had ventured outside the tower. Over the past few days, he had received visits from Shikamaru, Ino, Chuji, Kiba, Shino, Haku, Sasuke, Sakura, Hinata, and a few other ninja in the village who had begun to respect the blonde. If anything, the fact that he did in fact have friends looking out for him meant a lot. Flashback. He was even approached by Neji, who shocked him by apologizing for all the stuff he had done in the past to Hinata and him and that he wanted to start from the beginning to become a better person. Neji acknowledged the fact that perhaps Naruto could become Hokage, but only if he worked hard at it, which Naruto only reassured him that he would. After some talking, Naruto realized that Neji was sincere in his apologies and his new intentions and as such decided to give Neji another chance in his books. This didn't mean they were best of friends, but it was at least something to start with and gave the two a sense of newfound respect towards one another. However, Naruto relived his conversation with Hiashi when Neji promised the same thing, hurt or dishonor Hinata and Naruto would be in an instant. End flashback. Getting back to the meeting at hand, the first order of business was to ensure that Sasuke had his summoning under control. Out of 10 attempts summoning, Tora was thankfully not amongst the 10 cats summoned. Kakashi deemed it safe for Sasuke to use his jutsu in combat as he showed decent control over the cat that he wanted to summon. As it stood, the most powerful feline that Sasuke could summon at the moment was a lion by the name of Riko. It was also during this meeting that Sakura and Sasuke admitted to Naruto that they had no idea that 2 days ago was his birthday. They had not known until Kakashi had told them yesterday. Regardless, the two chipped in their money to get Naruto a late present and it was the only thing they could think of in the short notice, a gift card to Ichiraku. This was not like the card that Hinata had given him years ago, but it had enough on it for a week's worth of ramen, or at least a meal's worth for the amount Naruto ate. They had managed to ask Naruto if he had gotten anything else and Naruto pulled out the 2 books he had gotten, the Jutsu scroll Jiraiya had given him and the 2 knives as well. Kakashi saw the knives and felt something tear at his heart. He reached back into his kunai pouch and felt around for the tri-pronged knife that his sensei had given him as a present for making Jonin. He found it, but didn't take it out, not wanting to reveal anything yet. The knives that Naruto had were exactly like the ones the Yondaime had used, with the exception that there were no Harashin seals on it. Naruto showed his team what was so special about the knives as he tried to channel some wind chakra into the blades. They reacted well to the chakra and a blade of wind, roughly a foot in length, erupted from the knives. It wasn't a fine blade as his wind chakra wasn't fully refined, but it was fine enough to serve its purpose. Oh, and Ero Sennin gave me this as well, said Naruto, pulling out a jutsu scroll. Kakashi was really wishing Naruto hadn't done that. So sensei, now that I have the cat summoning down, what's the next jutsu you're going to teach me? Asked Sasuke. Yeah, come on sensei, what jutsus do you have for us? Said Sakura, butting in. What are you going to teach me, Kakashi sensei? Is it time to learn Chidori? Asked Naruto, still not giving up on the Chidori. Enough, shouted Kakashi, using Iruka's big head jutsu. He couldn't take much more of his team's constant nagging. This was one reason they didn't teach Genin that many jutsu, let alone nature manipulation. If they did, then all the Genin would be going head over heels like his were asking for jutsu after jutsu. Sasuke was understandable, coming from the Uchiha clan where the fire nature manipulation was taught to them at a young age, but Naruto, why did he have to let Naruto go on a training trip with Jiraiya? Because of that, it only made Sasuke and Naruto determined to one-up the other by learning a new jutsu. Not to mention, Sakura was starting to get a little antsy as well. Kakashi sighed, giving in to them. He turned to Sakura as she would be the more reasonable of the three. All right, come back after lunch and I'll have something for you and Sasuke, said Kakashi. Hey, what about me? Shouted Naruto. Naruto, said Kakashi, smiling and pointing at the scroll in Naruto's hand. You already have one. Naruto looked at the scroll in his hand and just laughed a little. Naruto proceeded towards the next training ground over, which was Training Ground 8 and the resident training ground of Team 8. The same team that Hinata was on. Arriving over at the training ground, he noticed that Team 8 was just finishing up their morning workout. He hid in the trees, figuring that he would just wait for them to finish up. After about 15 minutes of waiting, Kurenai called an end to her team's session. Hey Hinata, Shino and I are going to grab some lunch, you want to come? Asked Kiba. No, I'm fine, responded Hinata. All right, well then see you later, said Kiba hesitantly as he turned around and walked away. However, a glance was sent towards the tree that Naruto had been hiding out in. He wasn't the only one who noticed another presence in the tree. Team 10 wasn't a tracking team for nothing. Shino probably knew, but he didn't really say anything. Before taking off, Kurenai turned towards Hinata and just gave her a gentle smile. Now Hinata also turned towards the tree that Naruto had been hiding out in. Eep! Naruto had jumped out of the tree, landing right in front of Hinata, startling her a little. Naruto, what are you doing here? She asked. Well, I was just wondering, well, said Naruto, finding it hard just to say a few simple words. Why was it this hard? He had asked Sakura out many times and there had always been the near guarantee of rejection, but with Hinata it was a bit harder. Do you want to get some lunch? Why you mean like a date? She said, still unsure if everything that had happened between the two of them in the past few days had been a dream or not. No, not like a date. A date, said Naruto, causing Hinata to blush a little. I mean, I didn't ask your father if we could date for nothing. Sure, I would like that, Hinata said, letting out little smile. Now the only question was where to go. Jiraiya had told Naruto not to take Hinata to Ichiraku that much. Even though it was his favorite place, it most likely wasn't hers. But this date of theirs wasn't anything special. It was just the two of them having lunch together. He then remembered that Hinata had a rather large sweet tooth and they headed towards the dango shop, located near the middle of town. Walking through town, Naruto still received some stares from the village that had unnerved Hinata at first, although she saw how he just simply shrugged them off and quickly went from following behind to walking alongside him. However, she still held her hands in front of her like she normally did. Why am I still so shy around him? I told him everything the other day and he seems to like me as well. Why can't I just open up a little more around him? Hinata thought to herself. As such, she took it upon herself to drop her hands from where they were in front of her, to her sides. Suddenly, she felt something brush up against the side of her hand and instantly went red, realizing it was Naruto's hand. Naruto felt the same thing as well. Realizing that her hand was right next to his, he decided to try something out that he would see a lot between couples. He reached out with his hand and grabbed her hand, causing Hinata to suddenly tense up, but she relaxed and her bright red blush turned to that warmer rose-colored blush from a few days ago. The two enjoyed their lunch together. Naruto didn't even mind that it wasn't ramen that he was eating, besides he would stop by Ichiraku's later for dinner. At least everything was going fine until Naruto felt a chill run down his spine. Well, if it isn't the brat from the Chunin exams, said a woman with purple hair, mesh shirt, and a long trench coat. She then turned her attention to the girl sitting next to Naruto, getting a grin on her face that spelled trouble. She plopped herself down opposite from him, even stealing a stick of the dango from in front of them. Hey, what was that for? That wasn't yours, objected Naruto. Anko just smiled as she engulfed the stick of dango. Oh, relax you. Besides, it's not every day that I see a new couple come in here. The two of you are dating, right? She asked as she began her interrogation. Both of them stiffened as Anko sent him a devious look that most of the villages and other shinobi knew to stay away from. Well, yeah. WK kind of a, replied Naruto, obviously intimidated by Anko. Everything was going just fine, why did the creepy lady from the exams have to show? Anko's attention turned to Hinata. While arguing with Naruto would have been entertaining, she always enjoyed messing with a Hoiga. It was almost like a hobby of hers and she was practically considered a plague around the Hoiga compound. Sir, Hinata is it? Seems you have yourself a boyfriend now. Now tell me, why do you still wear that bulky jacket? Surely there has to be something underneath it that made this kid notice you. Hinata tensed up even more, as she desperately looked for a way out. Hey, can't you see you're making her uncomfortable? Shouted Naruto, trying to get Anko to stop. Oh, and what are you going to do about it, She replied. If she's not going to say anything, maybe you will. So come on, tell me. What is she hiding underneath that bulky jacket of hers? What is she like? Naruto could see Hinata turning even redder. It was only a matter of moments before it looked like she would explode from embarrassment. Naruto knew what she was talking about, having spent too much time around Ero Sennin already. Are all adults perverted? He thought. So are you going to say something? Come on, so what have the two of you done so far? You can tell me, Anko said, pushing her way closer to Naruto as he was forced to retreat back towards the wall. Have you 2K? She asked. Seeing Hinata go even redder and Naruto tense up as well, she got her answer. Oh, and how was it? Now tell me, did anything happen after that? Well, that was it. Hinata was out as she fell into unconsciousness. Seeing this, Naruto knew he had to get away. Gah! Get away from me, you creepy lady! He shouted as he picked up Hinata and raced out of the shop. That actually went pretty well, she laughed as she claimed her prize, the plate of dango that the two had left on the table. I'm going to have to mess with them some more. I've got a feeling they will be fun. Impressive, I didn't know the brat could be scared off like that, said a man stepping behind her. Anko let out a little laugh. You just gotta know how far to push them. Now that I know, things are going to get interesting, said Anko. So tell me, how did a kid like that convince Zabuza Momoichi, the demon in the hidden mist, to join Konoha? Naruto was running as fast as he could, wanting to get away from that crazy lady, Anko. He had an unconscious Hinata on his back. Turning a corner, he ran into something nearly as bad as Anko, Neji. What made things even worse was that Naruto couldn't stop in time and crashed into Neji, sending Neji flying back and Naruto crashing to the ground. Hinata went crashing down as well, but fortunately for her she had a soft Naruto to break her fall. Naruto, what's the meaning of this? Said Neji, activating his Byakugan and getting ready to beat Naruto should he answer wrong. It's only been 2 days, now what have you done to Hinata-sama? Neji, nothing. We were just trying to get away from the crazy purple-haired lady from the Chunin exams, explained Naruto. Crazy purple-haired lady? Anko, said Neji, scanning around to make sure Anko wasn't around. When he saw that she wasn't, he deactivated his dojutsu. It was at this moment that Hinata began to wake. Naruto, she said, still lying on his back. Picking her head up, she saw her cousin. Neji-Nisan. Hinata-sama, I came to find you. Your father is requesting you at home for training, informed Neji. And shouldn't you be training as well, Naruto? Well, Kakashi-sensei sort of gave us a break, and knowing him, he won't show back up at the training grounds for at least another 2 hours, explained Naruto. Hinata got up, allowing Naruto to get up as well as the two were facing each other. I'm sorry this little date of ours didn't go as well as I had hoped, apologized Naruto. And no, it's fine. I'm just glad I got to spend some time with you, replied Hinata. Well, I guess I'll have to take you on a more proper date than just a lunch date, said Naruto, giving her his typical big grin. Hinata perked up at this, realizing that there was more dating ahead for the two of them. Now she wasn't wishing Kurenai had informed him of an upcoming mission, and a rather long one for that matter. I would like that, and maybe when I get back from the mission we are leaving on tomorrow, said Hinata. Okay, how long do you think it will be? Kurenai-sensei said it will be a few weeks, Hinata said, trailing off on that last part. What, a few weeks, said a now slightly depressed Naruto. Oh well, at least that will give me time to plan. Ribbit. Hinata and Naruto looked down to see a small toad that looked just like the one that Jiraiya had turned that villager from the other night into. In its mouth, it was holding two pieces of paper. Naruto pulled out the paper and the toad disappeared in a puff of smoke. These papers were obviously from Ero Sennin. Taking a short look at the papers, a tear came to Naruto's eye as he handed one to Hinata. They were the picture that Jiraiya had taken of the two snuggling against one another on the couch in Tsunade's office. For Hinata, this had to be a dream, one that she was determined not to wake up from. Caught up in the moments, no one realized that they were being watched by more than one party. Why that little? Who does he think he is? He can't just go around like that with Hinata. Along with a deep growl came from the bush where the first party was hiding out. Oh my, are those two really dating? Came from the rooftop where the second party was hiding out. Although, now that I think of it, they really do look cute together. I wonder if Sasuke and I will ever be like that. What am I thinking? Of course we will. Not even Billboard Brow will be able to stop true love. Suan was shifting through papers on her desk. The mission loads were piling up and Konoha was kind of short on staff, not have fully recovering from Orochimaru's little invasion. Unfortunately, for the next few months at least, teams assigned to missions would most likely consist of mixed groups. Also, some considerations would have to be taken into account when forming teams for certain missions. For D-rank missions, only genin would be assigned them. C ranks would be comprised of genin with a chunin or two as well. B ranks would have chunin and maybe a jonin. A normal team of a jonin and genin may be assigned to a B rank should the situation be appropriate. A and S rank missions would be for jonin and anbu only. In fact, she was even considering adding a few of the more menial D-rank missions as community service to the academy curriculum. This would allow the village to maximize in profit for these missions while giving the students a chance to build upon teamwork while still in the academy. She picked up a C-rank mission scroll, detailing a joint mission between Konoha and Suna. Ever since Suna sought to reconcile for its actions, joint missions like this were suggested to help strengthen the hopefully growing bond between the two villages. There was a village located in the river country, about halfway from the borders to the land of fire and the land of wind that had been suffering from numerous bandit attacks and K over the past few weeks. The reason this mission was classified C rank was because the only believed threat was a few bandits with the strongest of them having skills equal to a low rank genin at most. Also, from the looks of the description, this mission would last at least a few weeks, giving her a solution to one problem. Shizune summoned Shikamaru Nara, Naruto, and Neji Hoiga, ordered Tsunade. After the previous night, she would have rather summoned Hinata, but her team had been assigned B rank and would be leaving tomorrow. Normally, such a young team wouldn't be given a B rank mission, however this was a tracking mission and Team 8 was one of the best tracking teams that had come along in years. Besides, for the given mission that she was sending Naruto on, Neji would be just fine and a Hoiga on investigative missions like this was also strongly desired. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.